Okay, and we're back on page 18, which starts day 1. Mission 1, evaluate yourself. Fitness programs require you to weigh in on the first day. Financial plans ask you for a list of your assets and debts. So, to revamp your social life, you'll need to make a social assessment of yourself. Your first mission is to write answers for the following questions. Don't worry about what anyone else will think of your answers. Your goal is to be as honest with yourself as possible. And then they list all the questions on here. So, in order to do this challenge, you've got to buy the book. Mission 2, read and destroy. Before moving on to your first field assignment, it is necessary to eliminate any self sabotaging beliefs that you may have about interacting with women. Your next task is to read the manifesto titled The Chains That Blind, included at the end of today's assignment in the day 1 briefing. Mission 3, Operation Small Talk. Your first field assignment. Make small talk with 5 strangers today. It doesn't matter whether they're male or female, young or old, friendly or unfriendly. The stranger can be a businessman in the street, an old lady in the supermarket line, a hostess at a restaurant, or a homeless person. The goal is simply to start a conversation with no intent other than filling in the silence with a question or pleasantry. The conversation doesn't have to progress beyond a comment and a response. If idle character doesn't come naturally to you, scan news headlines before you leave the house. Small talk topics include weather. It's beautiful today. Too bad we're stuck inside. Sports. Did you catch the blank game last night? I couldn't believe it. Current events. Did you hear that blank? What are they going to think of next? Entertainment. Have you seen the new blank movie yet? I wonder if it's any good. Remember, the answer doesn't matter. Whether you receive a long story or a courteous grunt in response, you've completed the mission simply by opening your mouth and speaking to a stranger. Okay, and now we're up to day 1 briefing, the chains that bind. When it came to meeting women, my biggest enemy was me. I used to look at myself, 5'6", scrawny, bald, and big-nosed, and there was no way I could I can compete with all the tall, good-looking guys out there. I was so unhappy that I considered plastic surgery, but once I started approaching women in the streets, bars, clubs, and cafes, I discovered that looks don't matter nearly as much as I thought. As long as I was well groomed, all I needed in order to attract just about anyone I wanted was the right personality. Although it's dubious, although it's a dubious achievement to be named in the media as a pickup artist in the world, one thing it taught me was that I didn't need to change the way I looked. I was doing just fine. In fact, I usually had it easier than big, muscular, square-jawed male models because I was much less threatening and intimidating. I could come under I could come in under the radar. In the end, my problem wasn't my looks, but my limiting beliefs about my looks. A limiting belief is something that you believe about yourself. If other people or the world something that you believe about yourself, other people, or the world. And although it isn't actually true, the fact that you think it is holds you back from the experience and success. Anytime you tell yourself you can't do something that's within the realm of human possibility, that's a limiting belief. Dispelling limiting beliefs is very easy. Just ask yourself, was there ever a time when? And insert your limiting belief. For example, if you believe that you get uncomfortable around beautiful women, ask yourself, was there ever a time when I was uncomfortable around a beautiful woman? Name just one time and you've disproved your limiting belief. Nearly everyone is held back by some limiting belief, whether he is conscious of it or not. So before I send you running around the streets talking to strangers, let's clear the air and dispel a few of the most common limiting beliefs about dating. Limiting limiting belief. If I talk to her, she'll ignore me, or even worse, say something mean that will embarrass me. Reality. Here's something that may surprise you. The harder it is for you to approach women, the less likely it is that you'll be rudely rejected. Why is that? Because most people have been raised to be courteous and polite unless they feel threatened. And a shy guy isn't too likely to intimidate anyone. The worst thing that's likely to happen is the woman will politely say she's having a private conversation or simply excuse herself to go to the bathroom. Playing negative what if scenarios in your head is detrimental to your emotional health. Instead, get out of the house and start approaching women, and you'll discover that most of the things you imagine going wrong will never happen. Limiting belief number two. People are looking at me, judging me, or making fun of me. Reality. This is half right. People may notice you, but they're not necessarily judging you. Most of them are too busy worrying about what other people are thinking of them. Once you realize that most people are just like you and that they're actually seeking your approval, you'll start to become socially fearless. Besides, most bystanders who see you approach a girl or a group assume that you know the people, so act like you do. Not only will it ease your worries about what everyone else is thinking, but it'll also make mu- your approach more effective. Okay, another limiting belief. Women aren't attracted to nice guys. They like jerks. Reality. This is one of the oldest myths about dating, and fortunately, it's inaccurate. The dating dichotomy isn't actually between nice guys and mean guys, or good boys and bad boys. It's between weak guys and strong guys. Women are drawn to men who demonstrate strength, not necessarily physical strength, but the ability to make them feel safe. So if you're a nice guy, you can still be nice, but you must also be strong. However, make sure you know what nice means. Most guys define themselves as too nice, only behave nicely because they don't want everybody to like them and don't want anyone to think badly of them. So if this is you, get off your high horse. Don't mistake being fearful and weak minded for being nice. Limiting belief number 4. I'm not good looking, rich, or famous enough to be with a beautiful woman. Reality. There are plenty of rock stars and multimillionaires who have the exact same problems with women as you do. I know because I've coached many of them. And in this process, I learned that money, looks, and fame, while certainly make things much easier, aren't actually necessary. Fortunately for men, the way we look doesn't matter nearly as much as how we present ourselves. And this requires only good grooming and clothing that conveys an attractive identity. When it comes to wealth, fame, simply displaying the desire and the ability to achieve them can be just as powerful. Like talent scouts, many women are attracted to men with goals and potential. And in the next 10 days, we'll be sharpening your appearance, goals, and perceived potential. Limiting belief. There is this one girl blank. Reality. There are many incredible women in this world. If you're hung up on one particular girl you just can't get out of your mind and she hasn't given you any sense that she shares the feelings, then recognize it's not love you're feeling, but obsession. And that obsession is likely to scare her away. The best thing you can do for yourself and for her is to go out and interact with as many women as possible until you realize that there are plenty of people out there for you, some of who are some of whom are capable of recognizing your worth and reciprocating your feelings. Okay, and I'll stop there and continue on the next um, blog because we're coming up on 9 minutes and 46 seconds. All right, see you in a bit.